First off, 7-on-7, obviously it's kind of a early look at your team. So talk a little bit about what you've seen from these guys and what Garrett has going this season for them.
Well, I've really joked with our kids a lot that our fans are going to have to check the roster a lot early in the season. We've got a lot of new faces and names. The program's going to be important to those who walk in the gate for our games at first. But we're young, fresh, very new at most positions. A few key spots back, but really we're starting over at in most places. It's been a good summer so far. I mean, really we took a little time off and just got back at it today, so coming down and getting a little 7-on-7 has been fun.
As far as you go, obviously not new to Garrett, but new as the head football coach last season. So at this point in the year, are you perhaps a little bit ahead of where you were installing your systems, installing what you do as a program?
Yeah, I think so. We're ahead in that our kids know how we want them to learn and what we want them to learn. Because we're so inexperienced and young right now, it's not learned yet, but being able to carry some things over from last year, familiarize with the coaching staff, everybody with each other. It's definitely an easier second summer than it was first, but really had no complaints to the first. We got a lot done and had a good group of kids.
Moving conferences in the future from the ACAC to the NECC, and they're dividing that into big and small. So you guys will be in the big. That's kind of a throwback. Was that the way it was when you were a player, is what I'm thinking?
That is how it was 8 years ago when Garrett left. They had a big school and small school. It's almost the same. I think Fairfield's into the big. Prairie Heights is into the small school now, maybe the only difference. I think we'll be the smallest of the big schools. But, a few of us are pretty close to each other there. But, we're excited at the chance to be able to play in the NECC starting in 2014. We got our schedules all figured out, We'll start with Prairie Heights, then DeKalb week 2, and then we're going to have a fun matchup with Cherubusco week 3 every year. So that'll be we're just about 11 miles apart. So it's going to be good to renew those rivalries.
As far as the football program, I know it affects all sports, but particularly for the football program, how might this help you down the road when you take a look at, I think everyone's trying to gear themselves up for the postseason, so how might moving into this conference help you guys, considering you'll be playing schools that are a little bit bigger than you're used to conference-wise?
Competitively, at least in football, I feel the NECC is very similar. There's no school that's probably the size or competitiveness as Leo has been. Heritage has been really tough. I'm still just learning the ACAC myself here in our last year of being in it. But, there's Angola's a bigger school. Lakeland's a good tradition in football on the big school side. Cherubusco's had all kinds of success in the last 5 to 10 years. And, and a lot of other emerging schools. And East Side's one we already play. And so, it's I don't know if there's an advantage necessarily in our sport. It feels a little similar. We'll find out, obviously, in a couple of years. But I think sport to sport, in some sports the ACAC has been a little stronger, and in some sports the NECC seems to be stronger. And maybe that's cyclical too. We'll see how that happens.
Football-wise, as a coach, you kind of, although it was your first year in the ACAC last year as the head coach of Garrett, you kind of get used to what other programs do.
Yeah.
What Adams Central is going to do. What South Adams is going to try and do. What programs that you play on a yearly basis are going to do. So do you kind of welcome the challenge of, okay, it's kind of a clean slate. I haven't seen these guys before, but I get to game plan against them.
All last season it felt like a playoff run. When you make a deep playoff run, you end up seeing teams that you'll never see any other time. And for me personally, and Coach Sutton, our assistant head coach, we both came from East Noble, it was very much so the case. Every week was something brand new. And, we got a taste of it. There's been a coaching change or two, though, too. So, but for the most part, it was a good time just every week trying to learn. But it's a lot of work, too. Being in the NHC for 18 years, so many coaches and even programs were carried over. Not that we didn't scout them, but I knew popping in a tape or looking something up on the internet, watching the film of the next opponent, I really knew what I was going to be looking for. And this year it was a blank canvas. Just put them in there and see what they do. So it was fun. I think we have a better idea the second year now. But we had a strong senior class, so they were more familiar with everybody than I was, and as were the remaining assistants. So it was good. I'm looking forward to being comfortable again, though. That's for sure.
All right.